this clip, I love this clip because this clip sums up the way that we've been doing church for too long. We either grow up in the church or you've joined the church, you look around, and you see some things are wrong with it. We look at that the church is still operating in the same church time slot. We worship in the same format. We look and we can see things that needs improvement. There's parts of the church that's stale, parts that are dying, other parts that are just absolutely dead. But we look at church, and what do? Our mission is more focused on keeping people rather than reaching people. And so now you're in that elevator. Imagine you're there and everyone's facing one direction. The question is, what are you going to do as young people? Are you going to do something about it? Are you going to conform and face the same direction as everybody else? Because if you do church long enough, you're going to pretend to look at your watch. But what you're really doing is you're slowly changing your direction. You do church long enough, and before you know it, you're facing the same direction as everybody else. Seeing that there's things that need to change, but you refuse to change because you know what? Everyone's looking this way. Well, tonight, the reason why I'm here is because I believe God is going to call you, and He's going to encourage you through me to call you into being a living thing for Jesus Christ, not a dead thing. Because a dead thing can just roll with the stream, but a living thing can fight against the stream. So we want you guys to be a living thing. But to use your terminology for this generation, I want to talk to you about two words: disruption and innovation. Everyone say disruption. Everyone say innovation. So this generation, you guys love these terms, right? Millennials love this term. So let me just explain to you what these terms are. Now, innovation has to do a lot with disruption, but they're not the same thing. They're actually two different things, and let me explain the difference. Disruption is this. Disruption turns an industry on its head by offering people something that previously didn't exist. Innovation merely makes an existing value offering better, cheaper, or faster. What does that mean? So we normally do church as Adventists at 11 a.m. That's the holy time that we have to do it. There's no Bible verse for it, but it's the holy time that we have to do church. So, if we were to be innovation in that area, some churches have flipped the service on its head. So they do the sermon at 10 a.m. and then it follows by Sabbath school. That's innovation. You haven't done anything new, you've just innovated something that previously existed. Now, right now in the Adventist church, there's this big cry for young people, for the church to go back to the ways of our pioneers. I don't know if you've heard it, but we need to return to the ways of our pioneers because people tend to think we've lost our way. But here's something I want you to catch for that statement. While this statement seems truly noble, what we're really saying about this statement to this generation is this: we are stuck as a church. We don't know how to move forward from here. In 2018, with social media being the way that it is, as a church, we don't know how to live in that space. And so rather than trying to figure out a way forward, we say, hey, let's go back to the pioneers. I've got nothing against the pioneers. Love them, respect them, read them. But check out this word pioneer. First meaning, a person who is among the first to explore or settle a new country or area. Second, develop or be the first to use or apply a new method, area of knowledge, or activity. You know, the reason why we call them pioneers is because they pioneered the Adventist movement. If we were to return to the things of the pioneer, we would never pioneer anything new. Do you understand that? We will not pioneer anything new in 2018. So what the church needs are disruptors. And I believe that young people in this generation will be the disruptors we need to move the Adventist church forwards and not backwards. And here's what I mean. Imagine if Travis Kalanick was to walk into this place and he was to cast his vision and he said, guess what, Adventist young people? You know what idea I've come up with? Imagine that everyday people can use their own cars and put strangers in it and make money. And we said, put a stranger in my car and make money, like a taxi? Yeah. Yeah, that's crazy. That's what investors said as well. Crazy. Well, as of October 16, with the up-and-coming IPO, I don't know if you know, but Uber is about to be worth $100 billion. Did Travis return to something old? No, he didn't. Travis is a disruptor. He pioneered something new. Now, what if Brian, Joe, and Nathan, these are the founders of Airbnb. Imagine they came in here and they said, hey, Adventist young people, do you want to invest in our company where people, everyday people can use a bedroom or a unit or a granny flat to have strangers stay in there and make money? Investors said, you're crazy. It's not going to work. As of May 2018, Airbnb is valued at $38 billion. Did the founders of Airbnb return to something old? No, they didn't. Brian, Joe, and Nathan are disruptors. They pioneered something new. So who's it going to be in here, young people? Who's going to be the disruptor for the Adventist church to propel us into our future that we need to go to? Because the people that will dominate tomorrow are the people who are doing things today that seem strange. Is that you? Are people calling you weirdo for the ideas that you have? Because maybe God is raising you to be a disruptor. Now, I'm 39 and I turn 40 next month in November. I'm getting old. I'm trying to hide the grey hairs. But the grey hairs is just to support my All Blacks. That's what, the black and white. So don't let it fall. I've got my All Blacks jersey on here. I never preach without it. But do you know what the Adventist church strategy was when I was a young person? Because we couldn't get our way, we were losing young people. Do you know what the strategy was? The strategy was this. You got to get it. This is a beautiful strategy. Wait for the older generation to die. That's not a strategy. That's not a strategy. That's giving up. Wait for the older generation to die? What happens if we do that and we wait and the church dies in the meantime? No, we can't do that. We have to do something. Someone has to rise up and become a disruptor for the Adventist church. And it's not going to be old people like me. It has to come from someone young that has an idea or a dream or a vision that God has placed deep within you that you need to birth, but you're too scared to birth it because it seems so strange and non-Adventist. But that's what God needs you to do to propel us into the future that's waiting for us. Now, you might be sitting here and going, well, I'm only 15. Well, I'm only 18. How am I supposed to lead? Let's talk about that for a moment. I'm on Avondale College campus. So I deal with a lot of students and I teach them a lot about leadership. And so when we talk about leadership qualities, the students have come up with this list. That the leader that they love to follow is someone that is a follower of Christ. That's an important one. Because the greatest leaders are the greatest followers. So if you want a good leader, look at who they're following and see how good of a follower they are. So if you want a spiritual leader, look at how they follow Christ. Are they in the Word of God? How do they speak? What's their language? That's a good key for you. They also want a leader that's punctual. They want a leader that's organized. Punctual is good. Don't you hate it when you rock up for a meeting and the leader, generally the youth leader, right, never shows up on time, right? Or they tell you got to be here for pre-program meeting and you get there and no one's ready, right? So punctual is good, organized is good, positive attitude. We all want to follow somebody that's courageous. You know, the number one quality for millennials is that we want someone that has courage. No one wants to follow a discouraged leader. You got integrity, they're good at preparation, the person is teachable. Preparation is a good one. I tell you the 5 P's to preparation. Proper preparation prevents poor performance. If you get that right, you'll be a good leader. They want people that are teachable, people that are humble. Now, I want you to raise your hand if you think that you could be this type of leader. Raise your hand. Nice and high. Raise your hand nice and high if you think you can be this type of leader. Okay, out of all the people in the room, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Okay, out of all the people here, we've got 13. We've got 13 people that believe they can be this type of leader. Listen to me, young people, I need you to catch this, because a lot of you guys think you cannot lead in the church today because of your age, or because of your gender, or because you have a church board that's so old and they don't want to let you lead. Let me show you something. Check this out. If I wanted to be a singer, I would need the gift of singing. Now, I know you look at me and you go, that guy Samoan, man, that coconut can sing. I know what you're thinking. I know what you're thinking. But I must be the only Pacific Islander that cannot sing or play an instrument. I don't know what happened. I don't know. I was at the clubs when God was giving talents, you know. I wasn't around. But I can't sing and I cannot play an instrument. So when I get to the Samoan church, just sidetracking a little bit, when I get to a Samoan church and I preach, they expect me to sing a song. Sing, sing, sing. I don't know how to sing, just sing. So I've got to go up the front and pretend, you know. Jesus. You don't want to hear me sing, I can't sing, I don't have the gift. So I can try to chase that dream, but I don't have the gift of singing, so therefore I can never be a singer. But here's the good thing about leadership. The only thing that's stopping you from being a great leader is choice. Because none of that requires gift. None of that requires talent. Here's why. All of this that separates you from this is choice. Because you get to choose to follow Jesus Christ. You get to choose to be punctual. You get to choose to be organized. You get to choose to have a positive attitude, integrity, be good at preparation, teachable, humble. None of this stuff needs gift or talent. It's just choice. So you got to stop saying you're young, you cannot impact your local church. You can. You just got to choose to be a leader, be bold, and go for it. So, now that we've taken that out, how am I trying to disrupt the Adventist church? There's many ways, and I'm lucky to still have a job, and I love my job. But here's one way. We read a book called Hero Makers by Dave Ferguson, and it's transformed the way I do leadership. It's transformed my church. And so Hero Makers creates platforms and puts other people on it. Hero Makers have their fruit grow on other people's trees. So for me, how do I do this? Well, in college church, you got to imagine the history of this place. I'm the senior pastor, but the pulpit, I don't lead it anymore. That guy in the Samoan Rugby League shirt, because we got an NRL theme at church not too long ago, his name is Pastor Alex. He's our lead pastor. He works underneath me. I let him take control of the pulpit. You know why? He doesn't have any grey hairs. He's only 24. If I'm to reach college students, and I'm the one that has to control the pulpit, and I'm almost 40, I'm irrelevant. But him, being 24, is closer to your generation. So when he says, hey, this is the sermon theme we want to preach, it must be the right thing to preach. Otherwise, you're going to get me, right? And being an islander, we're always going to preach fundamentals, right? But not him. And so we want to be hero makers. And so here are 4 beautiful, strong women of God. And the girl right at the end, she's talking to a guy on Facebook, and this guy says, it sounds like you would fit in at college church. And so she drives 40 minutes the very next day to come to college church. And as she comes in, she's sitting by herself, and it's awkward when you come to church and you don't know anyone and you didn't grow up in the church. And so I'm at the front saying, okay, guys, now go welcome anybody that's sitting next to you. Say hello. And then I said, and if you're an introvert like me, just sit there and face the front. And do not blink. Because that will tell other extroverts that you don't want no one to talk to you. So she was like, that's me. But this college student that's next to her, Amy, goes, hi, I'm Amy. And so they start talking, and this girl continually comes to church. Didn't grow up in the church. And so Amy, we teach her how to lead Bible studies and how to bring somebody to Jesus Christ through Bible studies that we put together that's nice and simple for people to be able to join us in that mission. And so then Amy had the wonderful privilege to baptize Monica. Now, Pastor Alex was in the front, so we were still right with policy. Pastor Alex was the one that was in the front, and he raised his hand, not her. So everything was above par. But you know what Monica said? Let me know if someone else wants to be baptized. I want to lead them to Jesus. No background of church. So we get this young girl, 17-year-old, after a service, we're preaching. She comes forward. I want to be baptized. We connect her with Monica, who was led by Amy. And now Amy and Monica lead this young Michaela through Bible studies. Not us, not the pastors, but them, these girls. And then Michaela chooses to be baptized. And so Amy and Monica are in the water with Pastor Alex. There's still policy. We need to be compliant. And so Alex is in there and he raises his hand and all three of them baptize this young girl. Now the other girl that's next to Alex in the black shirt, Chanel, beautiful young lady, comes to church regularly. She serves in our worship ministry. And she's leading 6 young girls to Jesus Christ through Bible studies. And we trained her. 2 of her girls says, hey, we want to be baptized. So Chanel gets in the baptismal font with Pastor Alex, and Chanel leads the baptism. She stands in front of the girls in the water and says, I'm so proud of you. This is the best decision you've made. Then they prepare the girls, and it's Chanel that says, hey, I have the wonderful privilege to baptize you in the name of the Father and the Son and of the Holy Spirit. But she doesn't raise her hand. No. It's Pastor Alex. Pastor Alex raises his hand. And they baptize. And then Chanel, here's the cool thing about her story. She's not baptized. She's not baptized. But yet she led 2 young girls to Jesus Christ and baptized them. But she's made the decision to be baptized because of that experience. So she's going to be baptized very soon as well. And so these are the things for us where we put in front of young people. We say, hey, how do you want to do church? And they come in and they tell us and they dream and they vision. And for us as a church, we say, that's cool. How do we make it work? How do we empower our young people? How do we get them forward? And the only way that you guys are going to get forward is to just take the lead and move. The only way we're going to become a movement is if you just step up and take the authority and the initiative and multiply your influence like these girls. Those girls up there are just an extension of the 2 pastors that they represent. If it came down to just Alex and I, we would only do a handful of baptisms. But with these girls and many others, we are able to get multiple baptisms and lead people to a deeper spirituality with Jesus because of hero making. It gets better. We've got 2 10-year-olds that lead a group of young boys in Bible studies. And their little siblings, 4-year-old girls, are watching their brothers lead Bible studies. So these 2 little girls that are 4 years old run up to Pastor Alex and say, Pastor Alex, I want to do Bible studies. And now, we're not going to baptize them, so don't worry. I can see the eyes. How dare you baptize them? Right, just throw them in the water. We're not going to baptize them. But they went to Pastor Alex, and Pastor Alex said, yes, I would love to do Bible studies with you. So once a week, for 15 minutes, Pastor Alex sits with these 2 4-year-old girls and just tells them a Bible study. And they sit there and they laugh and they talk and then they run off. But you know what we're telling these 4-year-olds? One day you will grow up and be baptized. And then God is going to send you someone so that you can lead them to Jesus Christ and baptize them too. So that they don't grow up thinking they're going to leave the church. They're too busy with mission, ready to rock and roll for the kingdom of God. So, Jesus was the ultimate disruptor. In Luke 10:27, Jesus takes this whole law system and turns it on its head and says, love God and love others. And doing this, you fulfill the law. In John 5, Jesus is a disruptor in where he loosens the burden that religion puts on the Sabbath day. But my favorite, Matthew 19:10, Jesus is a disruptor where he made marriage mutual submission. This showed how much Jesus valued women. And you know, when Jesus did this, in Matthew 19:10, you know what the disciples said to him? Well, if that's true, Jesus, it's better not to marry. And they left angry. So the church has been facing the same direction for too long. We need disruptors who can lead our church into the future. So who in this room is going to be the disruptor? It could be you. It could be you. Or maybe it's you that will pioneer something new for the Adventist church and move us into our future.